Wins are hard, right? They're freaking hard. How about that defense, baby? I talked about stopping number 28. We got 20 carries for 69 yards. We have 58 with the pick six. Hey, you might have to play a little offense, baby. Come on. Number 33, huh? And then 90 hits the jumps every week, big. But you forgot about 38. Where's 38 at? Where you at? That was a hell of a game, and like I said, I know this much. Defense, you freaking swarm, baby. You swarm all over the place. You felt it. Hey, that's the way to respond to adversity. That's what we do.
What's up, guys? ClubDub podcast coming at you, presented by SportsMockery.com. Excuse me while I try and figure this out. There we go, guys. Hey, welcome in. We got a Bears Victory Thursday podcast coming at you before one of the toughest matchups of the year against the Cleveland Browns on the road to the Dog Pound. Welcome in, guys. Erik, Drew, and Kevin back at it again with you. What's going on? How are we doing today, guys?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Fired up, dude. I'm really looking forward to this game on Sunday. I really can't wait.
Especially after watching that Matt Nagy ClubDub, post-game, little thing, huddle in the clubhouse, man. I missed that from 2020 so much. So that was fun.
I was looking for it yesterday, and I realized that because of protocols, they can't technically post anything like that. It's such bullshit. Yeah. Whatever. Like they should be able to do that. But all right. Anyway, guys, this is going to be fun. This is a testament for this team, no question.
Sure is. It should be a referendum. It should be Super Bowl contender on Sunday. They're going to their house on the road, coming off what should have been an easy win became a tough win. Now they have a rookie quarterback starting. All that kind of stuff. So
who's that?
It'll be fun.
Who's the rookie quarterback?
Some guy by the name of Justin Fields.
Oh yeah.
May have heard of him.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Erik, what's up, man? I think my bad. Producer had you muted, so that was on me. I'll hold that L. What's happening, man?
It's going good, man. Everybody's looking forward to Justin Fields, obviously, but this is actually a pretty interesting matchup. These are two teams that sort of have strength on strength type of things. The Browns' offensive line going against the Bears' defensive line. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Odell Beckham's coming back. You're going to see JJ go against him. So This is going to be a fun one. We're going to see exactly what this Bears team is made of. Are they the team that sort of, wet the bed against the Rams? Or are they the team that swarmed and really looked good against the Bengals outside of a few mishaps? So this is going to be a fun one.
You hit it right on the head. It's only week 3, but like we mentioned a lot in the postgame show on Sunday, if you guys tune in, and we're going to start doing some postgame shows following hopefully a lot of Bears wins this year. The biggest thing was beating a team you were supposed to beat if you want to make the playoffs, right? You look at the NFC North right now, and it's scuffling along. The Packers had a poor first half against Jared Goff and the Lions, but they came back and did their thing and won. But their defense is beat up. They don't have Zadarius Smith. Kenny Clark was in and out week 2. They're going to have some battle scars this year, as the Bears know very well. After very good seasons, sometimes you hit that injury hangover, and the Packers seem to be going through that right now, where the expectations are very high off back-to-back NFC Championship years, where there could be a soft spot in that team. And obviously the Vikings 0-2 missed kick to end it. I'll try and find that video of the radio. Did you guys hear the video of the radio announcer?
Oh, that's so sad.
Unbelievable. That was just. I don't think it's sad. I think it's hilarious.
It was hilarious, but it was hilarious. I also felt bad for that announcer. It's just like, yeah, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, so the Vikings find themselves at 0-2. The Lions are 0-2, and the Packers now 1-1, tied atop with the first place Bears. Yes, I'm saying first place Bears because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to say it. So we're saying it now, damn it.
Technically, I don't think they're first place because they don't have an NFC win yet, whereas the Packers do.
Who let this guy in here?
I'm
Who
sorry.
Let this guy in? No, you're good. Fine. That's fair. Yeah, you're right.
Technicalities.
Hey, he's technically right. We need that on this show to keep me grounded. I'm going to pull up the Bears injury report here real quick. I want to go over what we're thinking could be keys for this one. I just think – here we go. So they just released – this is the Thursday injury report. So obviously no Dalton. He might be down a couple weeks with the knee. Jimmy Graham hasn't practiced in weeks. He's just been kind of showing up at games, getting 3 or 4 snaps, which is interesting, especially with Fields starting this week. I would feel like Graham maybe should get some reps in with him, but that's just me. Keem Hicks, hope he's all right. Illness, knee. Tayshaun Gibson, Goldman, Mooney, and Goodwin, all good to go. So Hicks, obviously the most concerning, but guess what? We don't see Eddie Goldman on that list. Or we do see Eddie Goldman. He was limited, my fault. But did not practice again. So that's a huge sign against this Browns team.
100%. I mean, Eddie Goldman, that's the thing about the Bears is their run defense has actually been good to start this year. They haven't allowed 100 yards at all. They haven't allowed 80 yards in either of their first 2 games. So they've been playing well without arguably their best run defender. And now it's looking like he's probably going to make his debut. So you add him into that mix. The timing couldn't be better, especially going against probably the best running back tandem in the NFL. And with Baker Mayfield nursing that shoulder injury, I know it's not the throwing shoulder, but still, he's not going to be 100%. He's going to be missing one of his top receivers. So they're going to be leaning on that run game. And if the Bears can shut them down, it could make the game really interesting.
100%. And I think the clutch thing here is that you saw last week, Eddie Goldman gave it a go, was limited in practice one day, and then did not practice the next day. And I think the day after that, and was eventually listed as doubtful. This week he was able to practice on Wednesday, limited to an extent, and then again on Thursday. So that maybe there's a sign that he's building up that strength. It's a positive outlook towards maybe having him for the game on Sunday. And to everything that Erik just said, that's going to be huge for this defense. I mean, they are playing well. They shut down, for the most part, Darrell Henderson. They made life tough on Joe Mixon. And now, they have a 2-headed monster in Cleveland to go up against with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And that's a good part of their scheme. I mean, plus, you take into account Baker Mayfield has that injury. Will he be as willing to run if you contain him in the pocket? Maybe the pass rushers are able to get there, especially with the injuries that the Browns have on their offensive line. So look, there is hope, more so than there was after week 1, that the Bears may be able to go in there and sneak a win here. But of course, and we'll get to that, a lot of that depends on what happens on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And let me go ahead and share the Browns injury report, because listen, this is a Super Bowl hopeful team this year, and we got a great guest for you guys tuning in. You're gonna want to hear from my guy Big Play Dave out in Cleveland. He actually gave me the start in this business. Great guy, really knows his Cleveland sports. He's almost as crazy about the Browns as we are about the Bears. He was there for that 0-16 parade. I think he helped organize it. He really knows his stuff. And he's also watched Justin Fields throughout college, being an Ohio State guy. So he's going to join the show in a few minutes to talk about the Browns. But look at these injuries. I mean, the Browns have some serious injuries on here. I mean, obviously, you're looking at no Jarvis Landry. He was out. He's not even listed on here. They put him on IR, so he's not coming up on here. But listen, if you're looking at
the bottom, the 2 at the bottom are the big ones to me.
Right. I mean, if they can have Treader and Wills kind of hurt, Bears defense really, with the way Jason Peters looked and the way the Bears O-line looked, I mean, you establish the run in this game, and I think that's how you win. I honestly, I think that's the only way the Bears win this game is they establish the run, and Montgomery and Fields go crazy. And I honestly think they can do that. I think this is a win that they can steal with the Browns being as beat up as they are on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I mean, look, you think about and I know we'll get to the offense here in a second. I'm very excited about the game plan, and I'll talk a little bit about that in my final take. There's a teaser there for you guys. But look, I mean, there is plenty of opportunity here. You look at You look at Willis at tackle, Treader at tackle. Both of them did not practices for Wednesday and Thursday. Look, that says a lot about their potential status. You look at Jack Conklin was limited both days. So, look, there's opportunity here. Look, the Bears, I loved what they did schematically against the Bengals. They looked cleaner. Sean Desai talked a lot about technique and fundamentals in his press conference. I think it was today. And that's true. They looked cleaner. They looked, assignment and fundamental sound. Schematics were great. They ran stunts on the defensive line. It was fun to watch. And so if they're able to do a lot of that against Cleveland, look, they may have some pretty good success there. And I know, look, Robert Quinn is in the top 10 in the NFL in sacks so far. Surprise, surprise. So, he's looked good on some of his pass rushes. So, I'm cautiously optimistic there.
And not just that, you also have to look at the fact a lot of guys are sort of getting to the quarterback. It's not just Quinn. Mac got his first sack last week. Akeem Hicks has been getting to the quarterback. Bilal Nichols has been getting to the quarterback. So there are a lot of guys who are creating pressure. It's not just a handful of them. And that always shows you just how deep the front for the Bears is. I mean, they didn't even activate their best preseason player, Travis Gibson. He was a healthy scratch. So this is a deep group. And, if they're all healthy and they're all playing close to the way they can play, this is a dangerous bunch, hopefully, throughout the course of the season.
Not to mention Pro Football Focus ranking Gaylon Johnson as their top cornerback so far to start the year. You want to know the yards yards allowed, I believe it was, from them. His ranking was number one, and they had given him 0.0 yards given up. So let me pull up that stat real quick. But listen, you're right. This defense has some standouts. Roquan looked great. Jaylon looked great.
Looked fine. I mean, for second straight game, he's looked.
Will that continue? Is my question. I hope so. He held his own, but he's going up against a really decent offense in this game. Obviously, with only really one stud receiver, I mean, it's going to be a little bit different. With OBJ coming back, I mean, that'll be Jaylon's guy. But it really is. It's still. The quarterback still concerns me. Do you guys feel better about it? I feel a little bit better, but not to the point where I'm like, start him every week. Don't go out and find another guy.
I mean, you feel great about JJ. He's ascending really fast. He's looking like he's going to be somebody who could be competing for the Pro Bowl every year, which is exactly what you want to see. The question, of course, has been those other two guys who are primarily starting. I think Vildor has actually played pretty decent outside of a couple plays here and there that he'd probably want back. Mostly the long touchdown towards the end of the game. The second touchdown I don't really, put on him because he was put in a bad spot because of the interception Fields threw earlier. So I don't put that one on him. So he's played pretty decent. It's the nickel position that continues to haunt them. Marquis Christian was awful in the first game. Duke Shelley wasn't much better in this last one. I think they're going to stick with Shelley because he's not as bad as Christian was. And all you can do is hope that he improves unless they end up signing a veteran here in the next couple weeks that they are more comfortable with, be it DJ Hayden, who they worked out, Darquez Denard's out there. There's a couple of names that you'd at least look into, but for now, it looks like they're comfortable with Duke Shelley, and you just hope that he improves. But
Baker's going to have a field day with him.
What was that?
Baker's going to have a field day with Duke Shelley.
It's interesting you say that. I don't know if Cleveland's sort of equipped to, spread the Bears out like other teams might be, especially after losing Landry. Now, he might. There's a definite possibility he could take advantage of Shelley, but that doesn't feel like Cleveland's type of game. They're a more pounded, play-action type of team, really, hit you down the field with, OBJ who's coming back and that sort of thing. So they'll probably try to target Shelley as much as they can, but not as much as probably Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Those guys are going to end up doing so in the next couple of weeks.
So there's Gaylon Johnson right there. I just wanted to point that out. So 9 yards given up, according to Pro Football Focus. 7 targets, 2 receptions, and a pick. That's huge, man. And you noticed it in the first couple drives that it looked like Joe Burrow was trying to establish Jamar Chase, and Jaylon was hopping between both those guys, and you kind of noticed that every pass he threw to him was broken up. Even a long pass down the field, everything was right there. Minimal contact with the guy, just really, really great form from Jaylon. And you're right, he's an ascending star. He looks the part for sure.
the crazy thing about it is in that game, they targeted him 7 times and he got his hand on the ball 5 of them, which is just crazy. So he's playing some pretty good football right now.
No question. Well, without further ado, we got a guy that gave me my start in this industry. I haven't talked to him quite a while. We talk football every once in a while, but welcome to the show, Big Play Dave. What's up, my man? How are you doing?
Big Play Kev.
Man, what's up?
Nothing, man. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited for this game on Sunday, and I'm excited to talk to you again. It's been quite a long time, man.
Yeah, man. So, guys, Kev was like one of the first fill-in hosts for our it was like our first live stream ever. And what was it? It was like on at noon. Kev came in with a sport coat on, talking Cubs, crushed it. I knew he was going to do big things. So good to see you again, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. I could totally find one of those videos by the end of the night too. I think they're still up on the Facebook page somewhere. But those were good times. Yeah. Please don't. I don't think anybody wants to see that. But Dave, you guys got a Super Bowl team this year, right?
That I keep telling myself, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's what week going into week 3. Browns fans still have a ton of hope, as we do every year. A lot of times we went 0-16, so this is looking a lot better.
Oh, I was just telling these guys that here we got a little bit of an echo here. Well, I was just telling here, Drew, is that you?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's definitely Drew. No, it's not. I don't know why. Anyway,
is it still echoing?
A little bit. Not terrible. But anyway, what I was just telling these guys was you were one of the organizers at that. You guys had video at that 0-16 parade and everything else. So I know you guys have been through a lot, and this is a Browns team that honestly we've had this game circled for a while because we knew Fields he's no stranger to Ohio. We know he's got a big, large following there. He's a beloved figure there with you guys, and this is a really good football team. So I guess tell us a little bit about your Browns this year, how high they can go, and how bad you think they're going to beat the Bears on Sunday.
Yeah, I think we're going to crush you guys. No offense.
No offense taken.
The X factor, I think, is our defensive coordinator, Joe Woods. So he has notoriously been not blitzing whatsoever this year. And we get a rookie quarterback, even though I think Justin Fields is going to have a really, really good career in the NFL. I think it'll probably start week 4. This week probably won't go so well. But I think Justin Fields is going to be phenomenal, but I think Joe Woods is going to bring in a decent blitz to kind of, scare him a little bit in his first time in the NFL. So, I mean, you got Clowney, you've got Myles Garrett, you got a guy named Malik McDowell who a lot of people don't know. He wasn't even supposed to make the team, and he came in training camp, crushed it. I think he's going to have a pretty good game as well. So it's a new defense. They're still figuring it out. I think it's going to take a few more weeks. So, I think Fields could have some success as they're still trying to gel, especially our secondary. So I would say throw the ball quickly if I'm Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys can hop in.
I was actually going to ask about the defense. It's a very talented group, top to bottom. Obviously, you look at Myles Garrett; he's your superstar, and then you got a lot of talent in that secondary. If you could pick out, your strengths and weaknesses as far as where a team would probably want to stay away and a team would probably want to attack, what would you say at this point?
I would say if I'm Justin Fields, I would try to go out and get a big play where, 60, 70-yard touchdown down the field, because it seems like every game so far, the defense, like I was talking about, didn't quite gel. And like Tyreek Hill week 1, week 2, they had another big play. And it's kind of like our secondary is looking after the guys running the end zone like, what were we supposed to do there? So they're going to figure it out at some point, but I would say that's probably our biggest weakness. Linebacker is definitely the overall biggest weakness of the Browns. Anthony Walker we signed. He was the team captain. He was kind of running the defense. He's out for 3 weeks. who else is out? We had Jacob Phillips was supposed to be take a really big leap in year 2 out of LSU. He was supposed to be one of our really good linebackers. He got hurt before the season started. So linebacker, we're extremely thin. We were talking about bringing in Reuben Foster. I was like, oh, what is going on? Don't do that.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No. So, yeah, I would say go for a big play, see if you can get a tight end on one of our linebackers and see what happens.
Well, see, that's the thing. We got a couple of young guys that have really showed a lot of promise this year. You always hear Bears and in the national media and from an outside perspective, the offense stinks. They can't move the ball. And I'm here to tell you it's all true. It looked a little bit better week 1 and week 2, but it's a work in progress. We're really hoping Fields gives that extra element that'll help him move the ball. But David Montgomery's a stud, man. He's not Nick Chubb, but he's going to get up to that point. He reminds me a lot of how Nick Chubb runs the ball. First, second, third hits, can't bring him down. Splits different gaps all the time. You're going to see something in David Montgomery that's really going to give you guys fits this week. And if you have linebacker troubles, I think they'll try and get him involved in the pass game.
Yeah, I would say if you can get through the defensive line from a running perspective, you got a pretty good shot at making a 20, 30-yard run. So, yeah, probably do that. I'm going to stop telling you guys what to do, though, because we don't want to give away all the Browns' weaknesses here.
Hey, Dave, first of all, nice to have you on and good to meet you. Wanted to switch to the other side of the ball real quick. I am a huge Baker Mayfield fan myself. Have been since he was drafted. I obviously and nationally it seems like people are still feeling like he may not be one of the top 2 quarterbacks drafted in 2018. There's still questions about does he deserve a contract extension, blah blah blah. How do fans feel about him? I know there's that endearment aspect of it, like Baker's our guy, he's the face of our franchise, but how do you guys feel about him? Can he lead you to a Super Bowl? Do you want him around long term? Where are Browns fans at?
Yeah, we definitely want him long term. Have you seen our quarterbacks in the past? He's pretty good. He's ended that quarterback drought here in Cleveland. I would say that him and Stefanski are just kind of starting to find how to properly use him. And so, it's tight end screens, it's dink and dunk, and then going for a deep threat, especially with OBJ coming back. Anthony Schwartz did a pretty good job with it. He's definitely our guy. We should have locked him up already, because if he finishes the year 81% completion percentage, we're going to have to pay him a whole lot of money now. And there was no, it's just kind of a lose-lose not signing him, because you have, you've got Baker if he has a great year, you're going to have to pay him way more money. If he has a horrible year, then you're like, all right, what do we do? So, they should have paid him. I don't know why they didn't, but they're going to sign him long-term no matter what.
Let's take a look here. This looks like the Bears quarterback list. Four QBs in 2008. Oh, man.
Dude,
Brady
we did a live show before last game, week 2, just downtown at one of the casinos here. And Phil Taylor, he was a defensive tackle for the Browns. We drafted him, I think it was in 2011 in the first round. And we were quizzing him. We're like, you played 2011, 2014. Name all your quarterbacks. And he's like, I try to remember this all the time. I think he had 6 or 7 quarterbacks in 4 years.
I'm going to be honest. I know Brian Hoyer, Manziel, Shaw, McCown. I have no idea who Cody Kessler is. No idea who Kevin Hogan is. Tyrod Taylor played for the Browns too? Okay.
Yeah. He was the one who got injured, and that was when Baker Mayfield made his debut. I got to say, it's kind of fitting that I see a lot of these names, and they're also former Bears. Connor Shaw, Brian Hoyer,
Rex Grossman. I think we tried to sign Rex Grossman. I think he was having Thanksgiving with his family, and he took the Browns call, and he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." I was like, "You don't even have a job."
He just didn't want to go. Oh, that's the story you're gonna have to figure out. Look, yeah, here's us before we had the Cutler stamina. I mean, look at this.
You got a lot of those same names, man. Hoyer, Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Greasy.
That's impressive.
Yeah, man. Browns fans and Bears fans have been very similar from a quarterback perspective. Like, you guys haven't found the guy. I do think Fields is going to be the guy. He's by far and away the best NFL-ready quarterback out of OSU, which isn't saying like a whole lot because Dwayne Haskins kind of sucked. Cardell wasn't very good. He was okay.
I thought Dwayne Haskins was all right, but yeah, he was no Fields. You're right. I'm not an Ohio State guy. I'm just trying to make myself feel better about the Fields pick.
Yeah, man, he's going to be good. I think it'll probably take a little bit of time for him to adjust to the NFL, but
okay.
Yeah, get Dalton out of there, man. What are you guys doing?
Actually,
we're doing the Bears way.
To that point, though, as far as this matchup goes, I mean, how do fans feel about that? Oh, Fields making his first start. Is there concern that there's an element of surprise? Is it just that he's a rookie, he'll probably struggle, will be fine? What's that feeling like?
I mean, we'd rather play Dalton.
Fair enough.
Yeah, people in Cleveland, people in Columbus, all of Ohio love Fields. We just want him to have a breakout game in week 4.
I was going to say, I mean, I think personally, just watching his demeanor and watching how much he dominated at Ohio State, knowing that he is meant for these big games, I think he's going to treat this like a playoff game. He's never played in one, and I think that this is going to be a really big shot for him to show his people back home, like, hey, I'm still legit, I'm still that guy, and also show the Bears why he should be the next, guy to take over through to an injury. Look, we saw it last year with Justin Herbert and Tyrod Taylor. We saw it 20 years ago this week with Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe. Do you think that this could be the start? Do you think this could be the spot start that wins him the job? Because I'll be honest, I do. I'm in that belief.
I would say that because our defense is still trying to figure it out, he has a chance to do that. Obviously, we don't want him to, even though we like him. But yeah, I don't see Dalton. I know Nagy is adamant on Dalton. If he's healthy, he's your starter. I think that probably ends this week.
Okay. Well, here's what Fields said to postgame. I want to play this clip and see what you guys think.
How I played? I don't think I'm pleased with how I played at all. I think there's a lot more in me that I have to show. And, I know that's going to come with time. I know it's not going to happen overnight, so I'm just going to keep grinding. And, no matter what happens, I know I'm meant for this. And I'm meant to be here. I think, kind of my path here has been crazy. When I was younger, I never thought I'd be in this position. So I'm here for a reason, and I definitely think that I can play better. And I just think that this is the beginning. So I'm definitely excited for the future and excited to get back to practice on Tuesday. Appreciate you.
That's a good answer.
Make me want to run through a wall right now. I need that quarterback.
Yeah, he's smart. He's going to be a good quarterback for you guys, definitely. Not as good as Baker, but he'll be pretty good.
I feel the same way, quite frankly. But I'm a huge fan.
You already think Baker's going to be better than Fields? Man, come on. Yeah. Where's your fandom?
Absolutely.
Hey, look, man. I'm just being – look, I still think Baker's the best quarterback from 2018. So
okay.
I do too. I would say Fields, Baker runs through his progressions better. I think he has a better arm than Fields. He's more accurate than Fields, but he's also has experience in the NFL. So give Fields some time. He'll be good.
All right.
Got to get a prediction.
We'll definitely do that. I'm reading some of these comments right now. This guy who told me we're not talking about the right things. I think we'll talk about play calling in a bit. Let's see.
We'll get there.
Joe Montana could be behind center. Nagy will still make him look. Welcome to Bears Twitter, Dave. I don't know if it was like this for you when you guys were bad, but we haven't had a good team in a while. So
yeah, so we mentioned quarterbacks are very similar with the Browns and the Bears. I would say maybe coaches as well. Like Freddie Kitchens.
Oh
God, I mean,
I was just gonna say
Hugh Jackson. Like, we've been through the ringer, man. It's been brutal. Kevin Stefanski. It's so nice having a coach that's just very level-headed, doesn't say anything stupid, doesn't get emotional. It's very, very refreshing. I hope you guys get there.
I was gonna say, do you think that the Bears should move on from Nagy at some point and pull? Like, I know Nagy's he's not Freddie Kitchens level, but do you think the Bears will need another coach to get to that next level? Because I'm falling into that belief as we progress through these weeks, and I think now with Fields playing, I think we'll really get a taste of, hey, can Nagy actually be the guy for him?
Yeah, if Fields looks competent, which I think he will this year, and Nagy can't win with him, especially with some of the weapons you guys have. Because I mean, overall, I mean, you mentioned Montgomery. You have a lot of weapons. I think you'll probably end up moving on from him, to be honest.
All right.
Freddie Kitchens will be available.
Oh my God!
Freddie Kitchens reminds me a lot of Mike McCarthy. But
be fair to McCarthy.
I'd rather have McCarthy.
Yeah, it's like every day over. Kitchens was a different type of disaster.
All right, favorite Freddie Kitchens memory. Drew, do you have one? You sound like you watch a lot of Browns football.
When he got fired. That was my favorite memory.
I actually felt really bad for him when he got fired. Like, he just looks like a guy you want to go have a beer with. You're like, he's
That's true.
super nice guy. Yeah, when he wore like a Pittsburgh started it shirt like out or something, and I was like, all right, this guy's got to go.
Like one of those Barstool shirts or something?
I don't know, something like that. Listen, guys, I'm just glad that we've both moved on from Cody Parkey.
Yeah. I thought you guys still had him.
Hey,
I thought he was he's gone now. I thought you still had him.
We're done.
Well, good for
we
you guys.
didn't warn you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we're gonna have tryouts downtown Cleveland like you guys had at the bar.
In the middle of the blizzard.
Except I didn't hear about it. Otherwise, I would have gone. I watched. I can kick. I think I'm confident. If you put me out there, I think I could kick a 25-yard field goal consistently.
Tryouts downtown like you guys had at the bar.
Except I didn't hear about it. Otherwise, I would have gone. I watched. I can kick. I think I'm confident. If you put me out there, I think I could kick a 25-yard field goal consistently.
Tryouts downtown like you guys had at the bar.
There we go. There we go. Somebody's got that on record.
I don't know what's going on there.
I can kick. I think I'm confident. If you put me out there, I think I could kick a 25-yard field goal.
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Someone's got the show on or something. Because that's like the 8-second delay.
Oof.
I'm gonna say I heard that too. Interesting. Or you're just recording it on me, which
he might be.
Hey, he might be. I don't know. He's got fancy. See, you have a nice studio too. We're working on that. We're gonna get to that at some point. But
we used to be all green screen. I just tore it down.
I like the brick wall and the Bud Light. Are you sponsored by Bud Light too?
Whoa. I can't adjust it. Labatt Blue.
Oh, it looks like Bud Light Labatt Blue.
Oh,
that's
man, they're going to be pissed at me.
Well, Dave, all right. Well, thanks for hopping on. We appreciate it. But before we let you go, I want to get your score prediction, and I definitely want to make sure we talk to you come playoff time when the Bears are there and the Browns are fighting for a spot.
Yeah, man. I would say what's the weather going to be? I think it's going to be nice. So
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking a little bit before. Odell's probably going to play. I think the game plan is going to be heavy tight ends, heavy running backs, a lot of Kareem, a lot of Nick Chubb. I mean, Chubb ran 95 yards on 11 attempts last week. I think they'll up that a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be super high scoring. I think it's going to be like 28-17 Browns.
Okay. Drew, What do you think?
Yeah, I'm still working through that, as Matt Nagy would say, but I'm gonna say probably I'm gonna go 31-20 Browns.
Erik?
Hugh Jackson used to just say, "Oh, I have to check the tape," and he would say, "I have to check the tape after every question." So could be worse. Nagy's all right.
I think Cleveland is going to win. I think they're the better team right now, but I actually think this is a good matchup of two talented teams. Obviously, the Browns, I think, are a little more talented right now. I think it's going to be a bit closer. I think I'm going to have it about 27-20. I think the Bears are going to, keep it competitive until the fourth quarter, and then Cleveland's probably going to pull away.
I got to see where we're at. I got to see where he's at. I got to really check the tape, and we'll have a good week of practice. And I think the Bears win 35-31.
Whoa, 35 points.
Where's my laugh track?
Just play me on loop like you were before.
That was strange, man.
That was so
That was
weird.
fun.
I don't know. Maybe somebody watched the show or whatever. All right. Well, hey, Dave, always a pleasure, man. It's been too long. I really hope that I hope we can continue to talk throughout football season. If you guys don't follow him already, their show is fantastic. I try and tune in at least once a month whenever I can. The Big Play Reflog Show, you can find it on Twitter. You can find Dave, Big Play _ Dave. This was a pleasure, man. Again, he gave me my start in this business, so I'm really thankful to him. It was a lot of fun back in those days, and now I'm kind of, I'm still working my way up the ladder, but I don't think I'd be in a position I am today without Dave's help. So this was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you popping on, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. Keep up the good work, guys. I'll come on anytime.
Cool. Vice versa. We'll send our guys over if you ever need us. So
sounds good, man. Go Browns.
Well, with that, we'll see you later. That's Big Play Dave. Great dude. He really knows his Browns, really knows his field. So what did we hear? It sounds like Fields is a promising figure, right?
Yeah, I would say that. I think obviously big level of respect and admiration down in Ohio. I actually spent a summer in Cleveland myself, and I know how much they love Ohio State, and just being fans of the teams in Ohio. So I know that level of passion as well. So clearly there, but obviously confidence in their team. Hope brims, very, very much, highly. I don't know what I just said. That's probably not a word.
I'm sorry you had to spend a week in Cleveland or whatever.
Summer.
I spent a week in Cleveland on spring break one time because for some reason our music department in high school wanted to go to Cleveland with the choirs and the bands, and I was like, okay. So we went to Cleveland, and that place sucks.
I was there I was there for the summer of 2012. So this is right after LeBron left the first time. And it was an experience for sure. I lived in Shaker Heights, and it was fun. A fun summer. I was there for an internship, and it's actually, honestly, it's a great town. I actually enjoyed my time there. But
did you light the Cleveland River on fire? Was that
no, I did not. I did not. But I went to a ton of Indians games, and I thought it was they kept losing every game that I went to. I thought it was good foreboding for 2016. So I thought that was fun. And it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I wish I would have been there for the winter. Anyway, enough about my time in Cleveland. But
no, seriously, keep talking about Cleveland. I want to keep hearing it. Isn't it what Joakim Noah says? What's so good about Cleveland? Eric, Drew just told you, Joakim.
I wasn't there for vacation, like Joakim was saying. I was there for work. So
I don't hear anybody wants to go to Cleveland on vacation. Still, I should have played that while Dave was here. Oh, he would have hated that. They don't like Joakim over there. That much I do know, but. Well, Dave's a good dude. Go follow him on Twitter. He thinks Fields will be legit. He thinks Baker's better. I think Fields has a chance to be better than Baker. Baker looks great though. It's going to be a good game. I'll take the Bears. I think Fields will blow up this offense. 35-31 is my prediction, and I am ready.
Make Matt Nagy look good. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're telling Bears fans?
Yeah, I'm ready to get hurt again. I am ready to get hurt again. Never coming back, huh? All right, Dave. Well, fine. I had a check in the mail for you too, but I guess I'm gonna hold that back. We'll wait till Labatt Blue sponsors us, and then we'll send some checks over your way. But he's still mad about 2016, probably too. Oh man, good things happen in Cleveland. I saw the White Sox clinch the division today in Cleveland too. Man. Lay them all
I think it was Erik who wrote an article about that, foreboding, good stuff about why Justin Fields making his debut in Cleveland is a good thing for all the reasons we just mentioned. So, hey,
Cleveland has been good to us over the years. All right, now he's really leaving. Okay, he's really upset now. Sorry, Dave. One thing we didn't touch on with the Bears running game, they struggled in pass blocking with Dalton. There'll be a Band-Aid on there this week with Fields being able to move around and move the pocket a little bit more. But, man, these videos of Jason Peters, dude, this dude is a human battering ram. I mean, I haven't seen a Bears offensive lineman this dominant since Kyle Long. And this dude's 39. And I'm going to play you the tape. I mean, he looks great. Look at this. See ya. Sit down. Oh, look at him just move these dudes out of the way. Like, oh, you're
Big
playing
man
again.
strength.
Come on. I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that. I love those tapes.
And that's the thing. The initial scouting reports about Peters coming into this year when the Bears signed him were, in terms of size and power, he still had everything. You know, he can still move people just like he did 10 years ago. It was a question of, did he still have his quickness? Did he still have some of his athleticism? And so far, you've seen it, which is amazing to think about when he's 39 years old, especially, you know, the way he looked last year. He looked, you know, hobbled a little bit. It was clear he was hurt. So it looks like he's healthy now, which is a great thing. And if he stays that way, I think the Bears got themselves a left tackle, at least for this year.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
Juan Castillo, too, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Juan Castillo just brings out, the best in these guys.
I mean, getting him.
What he's done with Ifedi. I mean, what he's done with Jermaine Ifedi has been really impressive. And people forget that Castillo was the one who insisted that the Eagles trade for Peters way back when. And Peters had a lot of problems in pass protection before coming to Philadelphia, but Castillo said that there were problems with his stance and he wasn't staying square and all that sort of stuff. It was very detailed, and they ended up fixing all of that, and he becomes a 9-time Pro Bowler. Yeah. So I think he sort of saw the same things with Ifedi in Seattle, that he had a lot of the same issues, so he sort of corrected them, and now he's playing really well, like the first-round pick that he was back in 2016. So it's really encouraging to see that sort of improvement from a guy like Ifedi.
James Daniels taking over right guard and playing for the most part pretty well in a contract year. I mean, these are all positive developments. And look, credit to getting Jason Peters in game shape in a matter of a few weeks. I mean, he got injured in week 1, came back with an injured quad in week 2, played the entire game, looked dominant the entire game. And that defensive line's pretty good. I mean, Trey Hendrickson is a very good pass rusher. You know, and I can't remember the names anymore on that team. I wiped that game from memory.
DJ Reader, who had 8.5 sacks in 2019. It's not a bad group.
It's a solid group for sure. And you know, I thought overall they played well. I was going to bring this up about Fields later on. Is that I think there's going to be a difference with and Peters talked about this, is Justin Fields in the game, Andy Dalton in the game. Andy Dalton was doing a very good job stepping up in the pocket when there was a pocket, and allowing the fact that those tackles are allowing depth for those pass rushers. If you step up, you have a pocket, you can deliver the ball. Fields did not step up, and so you saw that a couple of times. A sack happened when it really probably shouldn't have, and that's something he'll hopefully learn to step up or break or something. And a lot of those technicalities Peters talked about earlier this week, which are really fascinating. So I'm excited to see how that works, and the mechanics of that here in Cleveland, because Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, they are coming.
And the thing about it is Peters compared Fields to sort of the early version of Mike Vick, a guy who's leaning on his athleticism, great arm, all that sort of stuff. And he's going to be effective in that way. It's a question of, can he take the step that Vick didn't until later in his career with Philadelphia, of learning to play from the pocket and delivering strikes from the pocket? And I think Fields is further along than Vick was in terms of playing from within the pocket. He had some really great footwork at times during the game against Cincinnati, way better than a rookie you'd expect. So I think he's only going to get better as he gets more game experience. I think Cleveland's going to make it tough on him because of their pass rush and all that. But these are the sort of things you're just going to have to learn to, deal with. And as he continues to do that, I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget the amount of talent that Jason Peters has blocked for over his career.
Yeah.
Vick and McNabb, obviously the first two that come to mind, but here's that quote from Peters earlier this week when talking about blocking for guys like Fields and Andy. So with Andy, he's going to hit his 10-yard. It's a 5-step drop. Andy's going to hit it, climb, versus Justin, because I play with Mike Vick, I play with Nick Foles, two different quarterbacks. Mike's always going to try and make a play, so he's going to bail out and roll. So he has to adjust. So I don't know. I never played offensive line. I never took a down in football. I enjoy listening to a guy on the offensive line where people think he just has to move bodies around and he just has to. It's so much more than that.
Yep.
And I love learning these types of things from guys who are going to be in the Hall of Fame. and guys who are still, appear to be as dominant as they are. I mean, look at him just describe how he blocks for different types of quarterbacks. That makes me feel confident in Justin's left side. I don't feel like he's going to take a blindside hit, which all things considered, Tevin Jenkins, if he's playing right now, he's a rookie, and I think you have less confidence in him, right? Honestly, I'm a believer that this worked out the way it needed to for the Bears. Jenkins will hopefully be their left tackle of the future, but with the way Peters is playing right now, I mean, you have to be absolutely thrilled that Juan Castillo had his phone number. Mm-hmm. He looks great, and I think he was as best as you were going to find on the open market. I mean, I love learning things like this. If you're not a football junkie, you have to love learning things like this from a guy. It's just, I don't know. I find it very fascinating. I really do. So,
I mean, absolutely. And last point on this one that, at least that I'll make is, they got this guy just a few weeks left, in training camp. They cut a perfectly league average to slightly below average left tackle, very dependable, very available, all those kinds of things in Charles Leno. They had a plan in place. Then that plan got injured. Two people got injured, including Borum. And so now here's Jason Peters coming in and effectively sealing that left side pretty well. So that's pretty remarkable. So, like I said before, props to the conditioning team, the strength and conditioning team, to Juan Castillo and to Peters for, just, being in shape enough to be able to ramp up this quickly.
No question. And Kyle, appreciate you tuning in again, man. You've been one of our loyal listeners. I like what you got. Peters, white hair, Mustapher, Fetty. Yep. Alex Bars, Borum, is there any center you like to compete versus Mustapher this offseason? I don't have any off the top of my head, but I assure you that the Bears will be looking at some.
I mean, if you're willing to, do a little shuffling, you could always move Daniels back to center, which is the position they initially intended him to play. But because Trubisky wasn't really good with the communication at the time, Daniels kind of struggled. So they went back to Whitehair, who was more of a veteran at the time. So now with somebody like Fields who seems to be able to handle the protections, maybe you consider sliding Daniels back there and then maybe put Bars at right guard because he played pretty well there last year. So that's one idea that they could consider if Mustapher continues to struggle.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, for the most part, they're going to have to attack that in the offseason. Mustapher, smart, good technician, just not strong enough.
Right. No, I tend to agree. I think we've seen that. That's definitely the weak game in that offensive line right now. But again, we'll see. He worked with Olin Kreutz in the offseason. Olin Kreutz is a big Mustapher guy. I'm a big Olin Kreutz guy. Again, I love learning from guys who know the position the best and have played it and are Hall of Famers in this league. So, listen, guys, we want your questions and comments. If you missed it, Big Play Dave was on earlier. He is a Cleveland sports extraordinaire, kind of like we are for Chicago sports. He knows everything. He watched Fields play all of his 2 years at Ohio State there. He's a big Browns guy, knows everything about the Browns, and he predicts the Browns to win like, America will. He had 28-17. And he also predicts a little bit better for us. He thinks Fields is our quarterback of the future. He thinks he's going to be a good one for us. So that's great. But I want your questions, guys. Go ahead and submit them. We're going to answer them in just a few minutes here. We're about to, probably wrap up our show pretty quickly here. But guys, looking ahead at this week, I don't know why I have this feeling. I've been thinking about it all week, but I feel like this is a game that the Bears have to have. And I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. And I know it's against an AFC contender, so it really doesn't have anything to do with their NFC playoff implications. But I don't know. I feel like with the big stretch still on the horizon, the mid, that gauntlet of games in the middle, and with the way the NFC North looked these first 2 weeks, if the Bears can get a win like this, I think that does wonders for their confidence, and it just feels like that much more of a must-win. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. You feel free to call me an idiot, but I that's how I feel about it.
No, I don't think so. If you look ahead now, the stretch we initially looked at was Green Bay, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, and it still looks pretty daunting even when you look at it right now. But now you're looking at the Raiders in Week 5. They're looking a lot better than people thought, too. They're 2-0. Their defense is playing better.
Their pass rush.
So, you start to look at them and it's like, oh, okay, the stretch is even harder than it looked before. So, yeah, I can totally understand you looking at this game and saying they're a tough team and they're going to be hard to beat. That absolutely, this is a game that we probably need to try and get because After that, it's the Lions. You should beat the Lions. And if you can get to 3-1, you might be able to survive that stretch, get to the bye week, and then hopefully make a run in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, these are all fair points. And here's what I would say. I wouldn't call it a must-win from a, like our season's over if we don't win, right? Kind of a thing. Like, I think the Bears have enough opportunity, especially because this is an AFC team. If they're able to show progress, if Fields is able to, get some of that initial first start butterflies and rust and whatever else that he needs to work out in this first game, if he's able to work through that from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, look promising. Bears put up, points. They move the offense. They look good against a Super Bowl contender. You go into that Lions game, of course, the Raiders game, the Packers game with a lot more confidence in that, hey, maybe we as a team can compete in these games that we otherwise maybe would have taken for granted that we're going to get blown out. I mean, look at Tampa Bay. They struggled a little bit at home containing the Falcons, who, undoubtedly have a good offense. But, they had to work to win that game. If you combine the Bears, who have a much better defense than the Falcons do, and now if you have an offense that's functioning at a high level by that time, look, the entire outlook of the season changes. And, there's always been – exactly. And there's a whole bunch of what ifs. A lot of it has to play out. If Fields looks like a dud on Sunday in Cleveland, the Bears have a whole host of problems, and least of which is the schedule, right? I mean, but if he shows promise, if he shows that he's able to move the offense and keep it on schedule and doesn't look overwhelmed against two excellent pass rushers, a very good interior pass rush, great secondary, all those things. Like I said, you're feeling better about the rest of the season. But of course, it's all going to hinge on how he looks on Sunday. I think you can still get out feeling pretty good, even if you lose by a pretty wide margin on Sunday. Like I said, 31-20, that's considered probably a blowout, to an extent. You can still probably get out of that game feeling pretty good if Fields looks good, and there's a lot to build on there. So I mean, yeah. I would put that qualifier on it.
Just looking at the schedule right now, I mean, you find yourself at 3-1 coming into Week 5 against the Raiders. That game, like, I think the Bears and Raiders are on the same tier of team. I really do. I think if you go 52 by 52, roster up and down, 22 on 22, if you compare all starters to all starters, I really think the Bears and Raiders are on that same tier. So that's a toss-up. But then you get to Green Bay, Buccaneers, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, probably going maybe 1-3, maybe 0-4 in that stretch. I mean, so, and then I don't know, looking at Week 13 with the Cardinals, that's another game. I mean, that's far down the road. Injuries happen, but right now Kyler Murray looks like the MVP of the league through 2 weeks, and I didn't think I'd be sitting here saying that, but listen, the schedule is a gauntlet. It's tough. And that's why, with the Browns beat up the way they are, with all of the hype with Fields, his first start, him having that extra edge, that chip on his shoulder, man, if they can go out and win this game, you're right. You're damn right. This season feels a lot different, and I think they can win the game. And I didn't say that. I didn't say they could beat the Bengals last week, but the way plays started to happen with Fields, there was some mistakes there, sure, but I think this is a big test for them, and I really think that this is a season, you could really see your season flip here in terms of how these guys feel in the locker room. Like, hey, wow, we just beat a team that was, almost in the AFC Championship last year. To, oh, damn, maybe we are just an average team that's going to sneak into the playoffs. I don't know, just me. That's how I feel about it.
No, look, I mean, at the end of the day, if they play well on Sunday, they can absolutely win that game. And yeah, I mean, you are looking, definitely more positive about the season. But like, again, even if they lose, you can still feel very good about your season, knowing that, hey, we just went into Cleveland, a Super Bowl contender, rowdy atmosphere, rookie quarterback, making first start, and we looked good. You can absolutely build on that. And all of a sudden you're much more competitive against the Green Bays of the world. Tampa is a different story maybe, but Pittsburgh, you can go into Pittsburgh and win if you show out well against the Browns, absolutely against the Ravens. And look, all opportunity, all bets are off and opportunities abound if Fields looks good on Sunday. So we'll see. Unfortunately, I'm missing the game live, so I'm going to be, I'll be following Twitter and
literally the one game you had circled that like you wanted to go see. Like,
yeah,
you're a big Baker guy. That sucks, man. Damn.
I know. It'll be that part's tough.
Fake fan.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna feel the resentment for that one. Sucks. And I'm missing next week's game. Man. Have fun on Twitter, guys. Enjoy the freaking out and the celebration, and hopefully more celebration than freaking out. But
I'm hoping that too. All right, predictions one last time. I had 35-31 Bears. Yes, I think Justin Fields puts up 35 points on Sunday. Drew?
31-20 Browns.
27-20 Browns.
Okay. All right. Question time. It is Cary in North Carolina, I want to say, or just maybe NC. I don't know. Our D shut down some good running backs last year, possibly repeat. Yeah, the Bears have one of the best run defenses through 2 weeks in the NFL right now. I believe they're top 5 on Pro Football Focus. Runs per or yards per game. I mean, Joe Mixon is the most underrated running back in the NFL. Him and David Montgomery are on the same tier of being underrated. Montgomery didn't even make an NFL graphic for being a top rusher in week 1. They forgot about him. And he was number 2. So that just goes to show you. But Joe Mixon is the same way. Joe Mixon is a stud. They held him to under, I believe it was 68 yards on 20 carries, what Nagy said. So
69, yeah.
69 yards. Yeah, nice. So we'll see. Nick Chubb's a different animal, man. Nick Chubb is a beast. If you guys haven't watched much Browns football, that dude's a bull in a china shop. He is thick and runs like no other. He's one of the best backs in the league. Kareem Hunt's the best backup running back in the league, if you even want to call him a backup. So
Kevin,
that's what I think.
You go from 69 to Chubb and thick. Jesus, man.
Yeah, we're all PG-13. Well, actually, no, that's like rated X in this chat, but
yeah,
I digress. We're making Erik uncomfortable here. He's getting mad at us.
Eric's like, shut up, Drew.
Stop being a child, Kevin. Okay. All right. I put this one up earlier. Yari Parker, why don't you talk about what's really important? Questionable play calling. This is just a shot at our show. I wanted to throw it up there. You know what? Why don't you have a? I don't know. I don't have a comeback for him. We talked about it.
Hey, look, I'm gonna get to that in final take. So stay tuned, Yari.
Oh, okay, perfect. So we did talk about it, Yari. Take that, man. We did talk about it. Hope next weekend will be the first of the next 10 years at least. I think we're all hoping that.
With some Andy Dalton sprinkled in. Come
on, man. You're trying to spoon feed me. If you guys missed it, you heard Big Play Dave, and I quote, "What are you guys doing? Get Dalton out of here." Gotta love that. More comments. Oh, yeah, there he is commenting back. Okay, maybe I missed it. No, it's coming up, man. It's coming up. We appreciate you tuning in for the whole show, though. That's dedication. Thanks, love Yari. That. Kyle, he always has some good questions. Andy with Laser at OC. Both can be gone. Fields with Tom Herman.
Curveball.
I actually wrote about that.
Well, let's hear it then. What do you think?
Well, Tom Herman was, obviously the head coach of Texas. Everyone remembers that, but he was an offensive coordinator at Ohio State. He was head coach at Houston. So he's a well-traveled offensive mind, and his system is predicated on having a mobile-style quarterback who can attack down the field. The problem is he really hasn't had the type of quarterback. He's had ones that can run, like, Cardale Jones and the type at Ohio State and whatnot, but he's never had somebody like Fields who can also throw the football as well as that. So I felt that his system, which is kind of a power running out of the shotgun type of system, lots of RPOs, zone reads, all that. And then when you have a guy like Fields who can actually throw the ball down the field, I felt it would have been a perfect marriage. So if Nagy were to give up play calling again, I wouldn't go to Lazor, I'd go to Herman. And I think that would be a match made in heaven in terms of scheme versus talent. So that's what I wrote about.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And look, Bill, is it Lazor or is it Laser?
Laser, I think.
Laser.
Is it Laser? Okay.
Lazor.
I mean, I liked Lazor, quite honestly. But look, I mean, Bill Laser, had very, I would say, fleeting success last year. Look, they had a nice burst there, of 3.5 games. Actually, I would say 4.5 games there after the bye week when Matt Nagy made the switch, went to Bill Lazor. They showed some promise in Green Bay. They lost to Detroit, but looked decent on offense, and then they had the 3-game winning streak. But look, all of those defenses were questionable at best, right? I mean, in fact, some of them just flat out sucked. And exactly. And so they didn't really prove anything. And as soon as you got to a defense that could defend relatively regularly, you saw Green Bay do it at Soldier Field in the finale, and then you saw the New Orleans do it. The Bears offense got shut down, and that's because, of course, they had a limited quarterback who could only do like one thing, and that was a big part of it. But there's history there with Lazor that everyone knows. There's a ceiling to his offense, the things that he calls, and it's kind of been proven out and done. Tom Herman, fascinating. It's schematically it's a little bit different than what the Bears have been doing. Certainly would call for some of the things that I think we've seen this offensive line or certain members of this offensive line execute pretty well in years past. We talk about that famous "I didn't come here to run the I formation" game against the Chargers in 2019 when you had that drive with David Montgomery. They ran literally the entire drive down the field, scored a touchdown right after halftime. That's one of the best drives ever. It was a lot of fun, but that schematically was a lot different than what they seemed to do. But we'll see. I mean, Herman would be a fascinating choice. I would also skip Lazor. That was a long way of saying I would also skip Lazor.
That was a long way of saying that.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're kidding. Only kidding. Well, if you also missed Dave on earlier today, if you're just tuning in, we're wrapping up. But he also said that the Bears are going to need to look to move on from Matt Nagy, which I thought was interesting because he's had his fair share of head coaches. They finally have one out in Cleveland that they like, and it's the quarterback pairing, and it seems to work. But alas, we still have Nagy. He's still the guy. He's not nearly as bad as Freddie Kitchens, not even close. But I do want to talk about, real quick before we get out of here, Matt Nagy on Justin Fields starting week 1. Again, if you missed the news of the week, Fields will get the ball, playing in Ohio again in front of a fan base that adored him for 2 years in college, with Dalton being out with injury. So here's Nagy on how he wants to help Fields progress in that game.
I think the biggest thing that we can help him with, too, is just like the distraction part, is making sure that you take care of what you need to take care of, keep them insulated, and that's what we'll do. And then go out and learn when you're playing. Go have fun, be a great teammate, and that's probably one of Justin's greatest strengths. And I'll just say this, I'll go back to that interception at the end of the game the other day. We were talking about it as a staff. One of the things that we thought was really impressive from Justin was him not being affected by that interception. And he came back, and it was next play mentality. So this will be a challenge in Cleveland. Loud crowd, great football team, really good defense on the road. It's going to be a great challenge for all of us.
There you go. Final take time, Drew.
Let's do it.
Let's do it up. Wrong one. There we go. You think after one of these shows, I'll get the controls down, but not today. All right, final take, Drew. Boom.
All right, let's go. This Sunday is going to be Justin Fields' first ever start as a Chicago Bear. Hopefully, the first of 10, 15 years worth of starts. However, I think Sunday is going to be a much bigger start of a referendum for Matt Nagy. Why? Well, Matt Nagy's had his, you could say, share of excuses for an offense that's been okay at best at times during his 3 years. Play design and everything, notwithstanding, you talk about execution, you talk about production, it's been bad. He's had what I think now the league can safely attest to, backup level quarterback play for the entire tenure that he's been here. You saw finally in weeks 1 and 2, Andy Dalton execute an offense that started to move the ball and look pretty decent. So look, maybe there was hope that, he was being held back by some really, really bad quarterback play his first 3 years, and maybe they found something here with Andy Dalton, who's a league average starter. And now he has his hand-picked guy, the guy they traded up for, the guy where Matt Nagy pushed in all of his chips and said, this is the guy to lead us to the promised land. So here it is, Justin Fields, first start. Okay, Matt Nagy, what's your game plan going to be? How are you going to get him comfortable? He's starting much sooner than you probably anticipated. You're going on the road in Cleveland against a Super Bowl contender, excellent team, an offense that's probably going to score points or you have to keep up, a rookie quarterback who has some flaws that you have to work around. It's going to be a referendum on you. You have to design a game plan that is going to, attest to his strengths, make him comfortable, have enough on the call sheet that the defense can't just sit on certain route concepts or be, where you're predictable on this down and distance is what I'm going to do. You have to have enough on the call sheet there. However, you can't have too much where Justin Fields starts getting burdened down by information, much like the way Mitch Trubisky used to do. So I think this is the start, and this is the start of, the true final evaluation process of Matt Nagy and his offense. If the offense and Fields develop and show progress in a, I wouldn't say linear fashion, but in a, building on top of each other per performance per week fashion, great. I think eventually the offense will get to a point where you can call them decent to good. And if that's the case, Matt Nagy's going to be here a very long time. However, if Fields struggles and continues to struggle and the offense continues to not score as many points as they should, it's going to be the beginning of the end for Matt Nagy, and we'll have a different coach here in Chicago next year. So a lot to look forward to on Sunday. The beginning of the possible end or the beginning of a really long time of Matt Nagy. Look forward to seeing how it all goes, plays out. Of course you did.
Yep. Of course I did, because I had to. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's the beginning of something, and I did say I'm a man of my words. I did say earlier on in like a couple shows ago that I think Nagy will have the duration of Fields' rookie contract. I could be very wrong on that. I think he's got this year and next year, and after that we'll kind of see. But yeah, this is the start of it. I'm ready for it. Drew, if you're not, because you're not watching, but you're too afraid to watch, I guess. But
right here, too afraid to watch.
Just kidding. You've been holding out on us. You have Game Pass, don't you? So you just go back and watch the commercial, the quick game, right?
But quite honestly, that experience of kind of watching it live is a lot of fun. The Twitter freaking out in real time, that part's all that makes the experience for me. But however, I'll be coming back from an exhausting day in Harry Potter World on Sunday, and then I'll go back, watch the game real quick, and see what all the hubbub was about, and hopefully it's good hubbub.
Certainly hope it's good. Well, Erik, anything else?
No, man, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day. All I'll suggest to Bears fans is get ready for a bit of a roller coaster, because it's probably going to be some ups and downs, but just roll with it.
Yep.
He'll learn, and give him enough time and some help. I think he's going to be a good quarterback for this team.
I do too.
Can't
All
wait.
right, guys, enjoy the game on Sunday, and
Enjoy.
Go Bears.